Kia ora tātou katoa, e ngā manuhiri o ngā hau e whā, nau mai haramai ki Whale Watch Kai Koura. Ko te tūmanako kia pai tō tātou haerenga, ki te mā takitaki i ngā tohora noho pai mai. Kia ora everybody, welcome in to the first online trial tour. My name is Josh and I'll be your host for this tour. Now, as I said, it is a trial, so we're just testing out a few things, making sure, sound comes through right, and just giving everybody a little presentation about Whale Watch Kai Koura itself. I do have a little helper here as well. I've got Tara Hawaiki here, which is a crew member on the boat. So, yeah, he'll just be beside me here, just making sure everything goes to plan. Okay, so throughout this whole thing, guys, for those of you that are in here, don't be scared to ask any questions, nothing too hard, of course. And if you want to see anything, I can bring that up for you as well. Now, Whale Watch Kai Koura, unofficially it did start back in 1987. What happened was there was a closing of the railways, so a lot of unemployment was in Kai Koura here. So a lot of locals actually tried to come up with ideas how to get employment around the town. And Whale Watch come up. So it took a few years for it to get going. Now, as I said, 87 is when they come up with the plan and try to put it into action. 89 is when we officially kicked off. Now, back in 89, we did purchase our first boats. Now, what happened with that is 4 families put up their houses for collateral and they come up with $90,000. 60,000 of that actually went towards the first boats. Now, back in the first year that Whale Watch operated, only 3,000 people come through the company. Now, it is a lot of people for back then, but today, to give you an idea, we get to see roughly about 100,000 people come through our company. Whale Watch Kai Koura itself, it is made up, or it is 100% Māori owned, and as I said, 4 families put up their houses for collateral to get this company started. So it is all humble beginnings. Now the company, as I said, the first vessel that we actually bought was nothing special, but $60,000. They bought this 6-meter. It was an 8-seater vessel, but then after a while they restructured it and turned it into 12 seats. Now this here was a 6-meter Naiad. As you can see, all the passengers there and the skipper. Not long after that, after things went really well, they upgraded a little bit. Got a bigger vessel. As you can see, got a bit of a hard top there. And then not long after that, we actually upgraded our boats to bigger ones, and I will show you right here. This one here is Wawahia, right next to a whale. Makawhio. Now this vessel here, to give you an idea, is about 12.5 meters long. This vessel here could carry roughly about 35 passengers. Makawhio, if you want to know the meaning, there's actually 2 meanings. Now, Makawhio is like martial arts for Maurako, or Taiha, you could say. It's like for dodging and weaving. Now, when it comes to a name of a boat, it is more saying that it's very structured, more agile, and has a lot of resilience. So it's actually quite a nice name for a vessel that can take on the sea. Urua, this boat here was about 14.5 meters long. It could carry roughly about 45 passengers. Urua. Now this boat here was named after one of the canoes that come over from Hawaii all the way to New Zealand here, and this canoe was actually driven by Ngāi Tahu ancestor Rakai Hautu. So that is what that name there means. Now after a while, after we started being really successful throughout the company, we started to upgrade. We upgraded to these 18-meter long foil assisted catamaran vessels. So the first one on the top left, we have Whakatere. Whakatere translates into English from Māori to fast squid. A year after that, we got another one, Te Ao Marama, which means the world of enlightenment, as you can see up there in the top middle. And then 2 years after that, went to Aoraki. Aoraki means cloud piercer, or there is also a mountain here called Mount Cook, which translates to Aoraki as well. A couple years after that, we go to Paikea, which is the whale rider. It is the ancestor here for local Māoris. Tohora, down the bottom middle, is translate to whale. More specifically, southern right whale. And 2009 is when we got our last one of this generation of boats, and that there is Wawahia. Wawahia is the name of the father of the siblings that started up this company, Whale Watch Kaikoura, and his name was Rangi Wawahia Solomon. So 2009 is when we got these vessels. Now let's fast forward 11 years later, and this is when we come up with some new vessels. So now we run two 24-meter long foil-assisted catamarans. They're powered by four V8 Scania engines and driven by Hamilton jet propulsion. Those vessels that I showed you before, the Whakatere Te Ao Marama Aoraki, they could fit 48 passengers. These new vessels here, we can fit up to 116 people. Upstairs on the top deck there in the cabin, you can see that is where our captain is, and that there is actually the VIP captain's cabin. Now it does cost a bit extra. There are 12 seats up there, and we block off half of the deck so our VIP customers can get a lot more viewing space, and it also comes with food boxes up there. Downstairs we do have roughly about 104 seats, and there's plenty of room for everybody to get a good viewing. Down the back there, on the back deck, that is where all our toilets are. These vessels here too, we can take on anybody that's in wheelchairs or anybody with disabilities, so all our boats cater for everybody. Anybody got any questions so far? Just feel free to come through with it. So here at Whale Watch Kaikoura, obviously our main goal was to go out and show people whales, but other things we do get to see are dolphins, seals, albatross, sharks as well. And this is because we are part of the whale migration path and we have an underwater canyon here. So what I'll do for everybody right now, I'll just go through and show everybody a quick presentation about some of the whales and dolphins we get to see. So that there just goes to show you the amount of, or the different species of whales and dolphins we get to see throughout the year here at Whale Watch Kaikoura. Different times of the year we get different whales. Now all year round we get to view sperm whales. Certain times of the year, so roughly between May and July, we get the humpback whales passing through, coming from Antarctica, migrating up to the tropics to start their mating season. Spring is when we get a lot of pilot whales, orcas or killer whales. We get them all year round as well. There is a resident group of orcas here in New Zealand, and they travel all along the coastline hunting for stingrays and skates. And probably once every sort of 2 weeks we get to see the orcas and killer whales. Also blue whales as well. Now, we can see them all year round, but the main time to see them is around our summertime. So up on the screen here, as you can see, I've put up an image of the Kaikoura Canyon. Now, this is the main reason why we get so much marine life coming here, is because of this big underwater canyon. Now, if I bring up an image here, so canyon systems are all over the world. The only thing that's so magnificent about Kaikoura is we have a canyon system right next to us. So you have to travel hours or days in other places to find this deep water. Lucky for us, from our peninsula, as you can see on the screen there where I've got P for peninsula, you only got to travel about 3 nautical miles towards the south and you'll drop over that steep cliff face. The closest point to land, 20 minutes south of Kaikoura Peninsula, there's a place called Goose Bay, hence why I've put the G. Now Goose Bay, roughly 1 nautical mile off that coastline, it drops off into that deep water. Average depth of water in the Kaikoura Canyon, it is 1,000 meters. Now pre-earthquake, the deepest part in the canyon is 1,600 meters, and the widest point in the canyon is 5,000 meters. This here, ladies and gentlemen, the Kaikoura Canyon, it is a feeding ground for the male sperm whale. Now I've just did a pre-recording. Now as you can see here, we've got a depth gauge and the Auckland Sky Tower. If you keep an eye on that depth gauge, this is what it looks like us cruising on the water, but look at that depth change dramatically. So we've just crossed over that shelf and we've entered in that very deep water. So it drops off right down to 1,000 meters as soon as you go over that cliff face, and it just keeps going down. What is my favourite whale? Good question, Izzy. My favourite whale, well, my favourite sperm whale used to be a whale called Tutu. Now, Tutu passed away unfortunately back in 2018. Cool, so I was just going to keep this little presentation short and sweet, roughly about 20 minutes. Now the reason why is because if I go on and talk for 2 hours, everybody will get bored and fall asleep. Basically, we're just giving it a tester, as I said, a trial and test to see how it goes. So any comments, questions, just feel free to fire away at us. Now, important things to us here at Whale Watch Kaikoura. We've got visions, missions, and values. So, our vision, as you can see there, to be the destination, experience, and company of choice. So, we want to do our best to be the best whale watching company in the world. Our mission is to identify, develop, and promote the whale-based experience. Whale-based experience, that there, us as staff, we call it the wow factor. So we want to give everybody that comes to us the big wow, that was so amazing, like they had the time of their life, the best experience ever. So that is what we are always trying to push to do. Our values, manaakitanga, customer, making sure our customers are satisfied and enjoyed their time with us. Tino rangatiratanga, company, making sure our company is all up to scratch with training, safety, and able to help anybody that needs it. Iwi whānui, community, so making sure our township gets the help that they need or help them out where we can. Kaitiakitanga, conservation, that there is looking after the marine life that we have out there, making sure, you know, we're not harming any marine life, not getting too close to whales, slowing down, doing appropriate speeds as well. Whakapapa is culture. Now, as I said earlier, this company is 100% Māori owned, so our main thing is to keep that culture going throughout this company for years to come. So there's our values. Now, as I said, guys, any questions, keep throwing away in the chat there. Um, as I said, I do want to keep this short and sweet. I've got plenty more to show, but I want to do it in sequences. I just try to fit a lot of things into this, just so everybody can get an idea of what's going to happen in the coming times. Um, Also, what we want as well is everybody commenting what else would you like to see on these. As I said, this is the first one. It's just a trial and error, making sure you can see the quality's okay, making sure that everything comes through all right. You can hear me okay. If I'm talking too much, let me know. Just things like that. The best way to improve is getting feedback, so your feedback's really important. Now, I know that there's only about 5 or so people in here, but the people in here, just say a comment, say what we need to work on, say what you would like to see, and then for the next ones to come up, that means that we can work on it and try and give you the best experience we can. This is a new tool, online stuff. The way the world's going now, a lot of things are done online or through AI, so if we can make this a great thing, who knows what can happen in the future. Just while we're here, I'll just show everybody this next one. It's only a quick one about a whale on a surface. So if you were to come whale watching with us, this is what it looks like. You sit next to a whale and you actually take in of how large they really are. Looks like the whale's not doing much, but this here's a sperm whale, and oh, sorry. There we go. So yeah, this one here doesn't look like the sperm whale's doing much, but sperm whales, they actually stay under the surface for about 45 minutes to an hour, and then they come up to reoxygenate for about 5 to 10 minutes. So they spend roughly about 80% of their life in complete darkness. Past or 300 meters below the surface of the ocean, there is no sunlight whatsoever. So, as I was saying, 80% of the life of a sperm whale is spent in darkness. These whales here, you don't usually find them in water below sort of 500 meters. All the food that they hunt is usually deep down in the canyon, like giant squid, other varieties of squid, sharks, and fish as well. Yeah, these ones here don't have sound puck. I'm not sure why. It's just what I've been given. So once the whale's filled up his body with air, as you can see, he's just plunging forward a bit now. He's going to come up for one last breath, and then that is when he plunges his head down, arches his back, and shows that big tail. Awesome. Yeah, so Puck, I'm not sure what happened there. I know all our other presentations, they used to have sound, but every one that I've got on my NUC and my tablet, they don't have sound. Now it's quite annoying, but yeah, I did ask about that, but they just said nah, nothing about it. So yeah, anybody else that's in here, if you have any questions or if you'd like me to explain anything, fire away. I'm more than happy to do that. There is a lot of as I said, this here is only a short one. I was only planning to do about 20 minutes, just to give everybody a little taste of some of the stuff that we have here, or some of the tools that we can use. If you'd like to see anything in particular, or if you'd like me to explain anything, I'm happy to. Yeah, that there would be great, Puck. I'd appreciate that, thank you. So this here, I'll just show you a whale simulator. So this here is a new tool that we use, the whale simulation. As you can see up on the screen here, we've got the depth of where the whale is, got the sea temperature in the top left hand corner, the name of the whale. So we can identify different sperm whales of this area in Kaikoura. Oh, there we go. Yeah, and that's by different shapes of different tails, scratching and scarring over their body, different shaped dorsal fins, battle wounds, or anything like that. After you see them from time to time, you can actually get a fair idea of which whale is which. Now, we do get a lot of whales that we can't identify, but Otago University have done a big catalogue of the whales that come to this area of Kaikoura, and they've recorded over about 200 different individuals. Now in the top corner there, top right hand corner, the mode that it's doing, so in hunting mode, chasing squid, the oxygen level, the water pressure, and also the speed that the whale was doing. Why do the whale come to Kaikoura? Yep, good question, Puck. So, so whales come to this area of Kaikoura because of that underwater canyon that we have here. The underwater canyon attracts a lot of marine life. So they seem to think, now I'm not sure if it's 100% true, but scientists used to say that the Kaikoura Canyon was actually a breeding ground for the giant squid. Now the giant squid is actually squid itself is 75% of the sperm whale's diet. So if you feed on squid, it would attract you here. So that theory there actually makes sense, but the main reason is because we have that deep water, and whales themselves, they're usually found in deep water, or sperm whales themselves, I should say. Oh, what's up, Uddies? Hope you're well. Cool. Yeah, so any questions, as I said, guys, any questions, any feedback, just fire it through to us. As I said, this here is trial and error. I was just going to keep it real short and sweet and just show you a smidgen of stuff, but hey, if anyone's got questions or want to see anything, I'm more than happy to do it. We're here now, so might as well show you some stuff while we're here. So, I mean, one thing that I could show you is how we track down whales. So we use two things. We use our eyes and our ears. So with our eyes, our crew members, they are actually looking out for the whale spout or blow. So I'll bring up an image of that once I find it on here. It's here somewhere. Cool. We'll just bring it up for you. It's just not working on my computer at the moment. There we go. So sperm whales themselves, as I said, they are on top of the surface to reoxygenate for 5 to 10 minutes. And every 10 to 15 seconds they spout out of their blowhole. Just looking exactly like that, a puff of water coming from the surface of the ocean, rising up to roughly about 2 meters. So our crew and the passengers, we always encourage people when you are out on the boat, just to keep looking out the windows and looking for that spout or blow. Now, when the sperm whale's not on the surface, there's no way you can see that spout. So, with our vessels, we actually have a device called a hydrophone, and that there is known as an underwater directional microphone. Now, on the hydrophone, we can actually hear sperm whales echolocate between 4 to 5 nautical miles away, and the sound that we listen for is a clicking sound, very similar to the clicking of your fingers or the ticking of a clock. So that sound there is the sound of a sperm whale when it is navigating its way through darkness in the ocean. Now, this next one that I am playing, this is known as rapid clicks or machine gunning. This is when the sperm whales are chasing food. Aroha, great question there. Do hydrophones affect the whales? No, they don't. So all a hydrophone is just an underwater microphone, and we try and listen out for the sperm whale's sound. Now, a lot of people think we use radar equipment or fish finding gear to find them. No, we don't, because that affects them with their own sonar. So we're just listening out for them. Now, this one here is two whales actually echolocating at the same time. How many boats did Whale Watch go through before the new upgraded ones? Cool. So are you talking about the 18 meter ones, Aroha? Are they the ones you're talking about? So if you're talking about the 18 meter ones, there were 6 of them. So there was Whakatere, Te Ao Marama, Aoraki, Paikea, Tohora, and Wawahia. Before that, they had Makawhiu, Urua, and Wawahia. And then before that, they had Ketchela. And then before the red one, we had Tohora, and we had another one. So there were 2 quite similar at the very beginning. So this next one that I will show for everybody, it's to do with the tracking process still. And I got an opportunity one day to go out on the boat and talk to the chief skipper himself, Paki, and he just explains a few things about the tracking process with the whale. Kia ora everybody, I am joined here by one of the skippers here at Whale Watch. So what was your name, sir?
Pakiana Hawk.
Awesome. So just want to talk to you about the tracking process there, Puck. So when you're tracking a whale on the hydrophone, what sort of distance can you hear a whale under the water?
About 5 to 10 miles, all dependent on the salinity of the water and wave condition. So yeah, about 5 to 10 miles.
Yep. So if it's quite a bumpy day and the conditions are, making everybody a bit seasicky, what sort of range can you pick up a sperm whale? Obviously, it depends on the clicking of the whale as well, as there will be a lot of disturbance around.
Yeah.
But if it's quite an average day, 1.5 metre, 2 metre swell, what sort of range would you sort of put it down to?
Like 2 miles.
2 miles?
Yeah, about a 2 mile range.
Yeah. And do you get confused sometimes when you're listening on the hydrophone and there's a few whales around?
If there's a couple, it's very hard to distinguish them from each other. You basically sort of just got to sit in the middle and try to guess if you're close to one, really, because there's clicks all around you.
Awesome. Okay, so I see a few more questions there. Do they echolocate when they make their way back to the surface? Good question, Aris. No, they don't. Well, they can, but 99% of the time they don't. Now, what they do, sperm whales, when they're coming back to the surface of the ocean, they actually change their frequency to a very high frequency that the human ear cannot hear, and that indicates that or when it is completely silent and we can't hear a thing, that indicates to us that the sperm whale is coming up to the surface. Now, the best way to explain that, because you're probably confused, is just say we're sitting next to a sperm whale right now, and it dives down, shows its tail and dives down. We go through the tracking process of using the hydrophone for roughly about 40 minutes, and we can hear them echolocate, just that clicking sound, for about 40 minutes. All of a sudden, if we put the hydrophone in the water and we cannot hear a thing, that tells us that the whale is coming up to reoxygenate. So that's a very good question. So we've got another one from HM. Kia ora, do you ever see any other species or just sperm whale? Yep, another good question. We do see a lot of species of whales. So as I was saying earlier, the Kaikoura Canyon, it is a feeding ground for the male sperm whales. That's one thing that I will say. We only get males here. This is because the water, it is far too cold for the females. The females, you find them up in the warmer waters near the equator, by Samoa, Tonga, Fiji, the Azores, and the Galapagos Islands. Now, the other species of whales we get to see, from May through to about July, August, we get the humpback whales migrating through from Antarctica, heading up to the tropics for their breeding season. So this year, I remember the crew saying they had about 7 humpbacks in one group just passing through, and they stay close to the shore. We get a lot of fin whales in the summertime, and sei whales, also blue whales in the summertime. Southern right whales, we don't see them often. Now, probably once, if we're lucky, once a year, once every 18 months. Go back 100 years ago though, Kaikoura, it was known as a breeding ground for the southern right whale, but due to whaling back then, they just got wiped out and we hardly see them anymore. Minke whales in the winter, we don't see too many, but we do see a few of them. And around springtime we see a lot of pilot whales. All year round we see orcas, maybe once every sort of 2 to 3 weeks as well. But yeah, that is a good question as well. Yeah, it is, Aroha, it is a good upgrade. Like, it just goes to show though how much we're progressing and how successful this company has been. Is there ever a time where whale watch don't see whales? Yes, yeah, that is another good question. Yes, so one of our things that we do say is 95% of the time we do see a whale. The 5% of the time that we don't, I'll say that again. That doesn't necessarily mean that there's no whales there. Because of the area, because it's so big and we've only got one boat, maybe 2 boats out there, we can only cover a certain amount of ground each trip, or even in a day. So we do go out there at times and we don't see a whale. So if you don't see a whale, we do give you a 80% refund. But as I said, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's no whales around this area of Kaikoura. We can travel out to 30 nautical miles offshore. Now, to travel 30 nautical miles, that there can take up to 45 minutes to an hour. Now, when you've only got about 2.25 hours on the sea, it doesn't leave you much time to sort of play around out there and go through and stay out there all day. So, if you head out 20 miles, you don't hear a whale, I mean, you already got an hour's travel time. 30 minutes there, 30 minutes back. Now, if you're going out to that 30-mile mark, that means that you're giving yourself 2 hours, which you only got about 15 minutes to play around with. So timing's everything here at Whale Watch Kaikoura. If your timing's on point, you're just lucky. Sometimes, you've got to run on whale time. We can't control the whales, we just got to do what the whales are doing. But that is a good question. Can anyone or any boat view whales? Yes, they can. But you can't... how could I explain this? So recreational, you can. So if you're just there, if you've got your boat and your family on it and you're like, oh sweet, I might go out and have a look, you can. That's fine. But if you're on, just say, a fishing charter and people are paying you to go out, you need to get a permit or you need to have a license to view it. But, if you're just chilling in the bay, going for a fish, and all of a sudden a whale pops up next to you, yeah, by all means you can, but all the rules apply. You have to be at least 50 meters away. You can only have 3 vessels around the marine life at once, and also you can't speed up or like show any revs within 300 meters of that whale. But yeah, good question. Anyone can view, but you can't just take paying customers to see whales unless you've got a license. Why do whales get beached? Yeah, so with sperm whales, I'll just say for sperm whales, if they're on the beach, they are already dead. They would have passed away out at sea. The ones, like, correct me if I'm wrong with your question, but if you're talking about like the pilot whales, they beach themselves a lot, mainly here in New Zealand in Golden Bay. Now, the reason why with pilot whales, they find sandbanks. When they're doing their sonar, when they're sending out clicks, they hit the sandbanks and the sandbank just confuses them. So when you've got one pilot whale ahead of the group and it's getting confused by these sandbanks, it just cruises in and just loses its mind and beaches itself. The trouble is with pilot whales is where one goes, the rest will follow. So it's a bit like follow the leader. So that is why you'll see a lot of pilot whales getting beached, is because they get confused and they lose their mind over the sandbanks. With other whales, more so a sperm whale, if you see one beached, it probably already died out at sea. Can you give you dolphins and seals too, or only whales? Yes, good question. So, with us here at Whale Watch Kaikoura, our main goal is to find for everybody to view a sperm whale, but we can also view dolphins and seals as well. So, a tour itself, how it usually works is the main goal. I mean, it changes every time. It depends on your timing. It depends, if you're getting marks from another boat out there or aeroplane, you've got to change your tour. So the captain's got to be on the ball quite a bit. So the main goal is to go out there and find a whale, a couple of whales for everybody to view. Then after that, usually go in and view some dolphins, big group of dusky dolphins. We get to see groups of duskies anywhere between 50 to even 1,000. Seals, for sure. So we've got like a little posse that we go to, or rock, and it's called Barney's Rock. Barney's Rock is a place for the New Zealand fur seal to breed and feed on, or mainly breed. They also bring fish back for their young calves that are on the rock there to feed on, and also albatross and seabirds. So most marine life, or all marine life, we have licenses to go out and view. Very good question there. Keep coming with the questions, guys. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. As I said, if anybody's new in here, I'm only giving everybody just a short glimpse. We're still coming up with ideas how we can make this work properly, but your feedback is the most important thing. Now, the feedback that we're looking for is what you want to see or how you want this to be run. So, would you like me to go out and capture footage on a tour and then talk about what they're seeing on each tour? I mean, I can sit here and actually talk about specific topics each time. I don't want to go on, as I said, I only wanted to do this for 20 minutes because, a lot of people lose interest and whatnot. So if you keep it short and sharp, you can keep people's attention. But I'm already been here for about 50 minutes. So as I said, I can go on for hours and hours, but I don't want to bore anybody. Do you ever see Mother Nature at its finest and see marine life feeding on other marine life? Yes, yeah, good question. Yeah, so that there is something that you don't see every day. So a prime example of that is when you get, I'll give you a couple of examples. So you can go out there and you see a seal playing around, you go up next to the seal, check him out, and here's a seal feeding on like an octopus or a fish. And it's really cool, get some nice pictures of that. And then you can see the really impressive stuff when you get orcas coming through and they start picking on like blue sharks even. The only thing on a shark that orcas will eat is actually the liver, and then from there the shark dies and then the rest of the ocean feed on it. Now, a few years ago, we had the Antarctic orcas come through. The Antarctic orcas have got like a orange tinge on the side of them where the white is, and they're the real hunters. They're the ones that you see making those waves and knocking off the sea lions down in Antarctica off the icebergs. So I remember being out on the boat and a group of about 20 to 30 of them come through, and there was fin whales out there at the time. And you see these fin whales actually coming up, taking a few breaths, and then going down. They're moving really quick. All of a sudden, these orcas come through, and then there was just blood everywhere. So, yeah, marine life, they do feed on each other. I mean, it's just the food chain at the end of the day. I mean, what we see on the top of the ocean is only probably 1% of what happens underneath it. So, yeah, we do see that, but that is a good question. So, as I was saying, guys, even if you'd like to write us an email about what you would like to see, if you don't want to chuck it online here, if you don't want to put it in the chat, if you want to not put it in the comments, send in an email in telling us what else you'd like to see, how we can improve this. As I said, this here is the first time this has been done. We're looking at different ways to show people that actually can't come here from overseas or even here in Aotearoa, New Zealand, but how we can give you a wow experience online. Do you see a good range of seabirds, including albatross? Yes, yep. So we get 75% of all oceanic seabird species here, and that ranges from, the wandering albatross, the northern and southern royal albatross, down to your giant petrels, white morphs on rare occasions, um, Cape petrels, gulls, gannets, prions, shearwaters. Yeah, we get a lot of different species of seabirds and albatross coming here. So here at Whale Watch Kaikoura, as we're cruising out, we do try and give everybody a heads up and notify everybody which birds which. Do you have other resources that help you find whales or other marine life? Yeah, okay. Yes, we do. So, as I said, eyes and ears is what we use. Now, if we've got two vessels out there, we'll stay in radio contact with each other, but we also stay in radio contact on VHF with the helicopters, the aeroplanes, and also other chartered businesses as well, such as Dolphin Encounter, commercial fishermen as well. So we always stay in radio contact with each other. So everybody helps out everybody, and everybody's happy and successful at the end of the day. Good question. Yeah, so as I was saying about the feedback part, if you're too scared to put it in the comments or later on, feel free to send me an email. It's just josh@whalewatch.co.nz. That is josh@whalewatch.co.nz. And just send me through everything or what you found about this online presentation. And you tell me what else you would like to see or what I can do to improve on. As I said, it is hard to improve when nobody gives you feedback. So the more feedback you get, the more, the better you can become, and the better we can do this. Here we go. How could someone get a job with Whale Watch Kaikoura? Yes, great question from Abba. So online on our website, we do have a part there with job vacancies. So if you go to our online website, which is whalewatch or www.whalewatch.co.nz, click on menu and you will see job vacancies and you will see the list there. So with our summer season coming up, it is our busy season. So, we've got probably jobs on the sea. We probably got jobs in reservations as well. I mean, there could be transport jobs. So if you go to our website, www.whalewatch.co.nz, and go to the job vacancies, and that is where you'll find those vacancies. Teamwork makes the dream work. Exactly, out of here. Exactly. sold. Not a question, but I want to bring the family down to go out on a few trips. Thank you for doing this stream. Would love to see more. Awesome. Hey, thank you HM for coming in. As I said, any sort of feedback is good. Now, if you would like to find out more information, you can send us an email. So if you want anything to do with bookings, there's a few different ways. You can give us a call on 0800 Wales. Also, you can send us an email about bookings. That is to reservations@whalewatch.co.nz. Or you can just walk in and have a chat to our staff down in Res, and they can help you out with that as well. But yeah, as I said, we will be doing more of these. This here is a trial and error, just more of a trial or test run before we start getting into the main stuff that we actually want to do online. But I just wanted to touch base on a few things and run through it. And yeah, absolutely brilliant presentation, Josh. Graphics are amazing as well, allowing us to listen to. Oh, thanks, Aroha. Really appreciate that. It means a lot. Thank you. Do you need to be qualified to get a job there? Yeah, good question. Especially talking about boating and everything there. No. No, so you can get a job here without having any qualifications. I mean, of course, if you've got a qualification, just like any job though, it will help you. But if you've got no qualifications and, you're looking for a job, you might as well pop your name down. Our management team, they will check it out. If you want to send us an email, just to reservations@whalewatch.co.nz, they can forward it on to the right manager of what role you want. And yeah, our managers will check it out for you and they will get in touch with you if you get an interview. But yeah, that's a good question, Aris, knowing if you need qualifications or not. So yeah, any other questions, guys, before we just wrap it up? As I said, I only wanted to do like a 20-minute one just to show people things, but yeah, went on a bit longer, but hey, that's cool. It was very informative. Appreciate it. Well, watch Kaiko sooner rather than later. Awesome. Hey, thank you, Ada here, and thank you so much for the questions. Yeah, you really put my brain to the test there, but I hope I answered them correctly for you and gave you the answers that you're looking for. Awesome. Okay, guys. Yeah, apart from that, thanks everybody for coming through. As I said, once again, you're probably sick of me saying this, but it was a bit of a test run, just showing you a few of the tools that we have. I didn't show you everything. I've only shown you a few things. Now, if you've taken anything out of this and you'd like to share it, I'm more than happy to take on board your feedback. Just send me an email to josh@whalewatch.co.nz. Tell me your thoughts, tell me some stuff or some other things that you'd like to see on here. It's hard being the first one because you want to show them this, you want to show them this and tell you everything, but you don't want to do it for too long so I can keep your sort of minds here. But no, I appreciate everybody coming through. I hope you had a good time. But we will keep an eye on our social media pages. We're even on TikTok, got Instagram, Facebook. We're always coming out with different things on there. But that is where all the updates for the online tours or online presentations will be. And yeah, apart from that, guys, I'll leave everybody to it. And thank you for watching, and I hope everybody keeps safe out there and has a great evening. So, other than that, nō reira, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā rā tātou katoa. Kia ora.